What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Will MD. I got my pal Jeffrey here, and I know it's a day late, but we're gonna do our CFB show for the week. Jeffrey,
hmm
this was a nutty week of college football, man. So many crazy things happened.
Absolutely a nutty week for sure. And I'm glad that even if it's a day late, we're still getting to do the show tonight, recapping week 5, predicting week 6. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, every week of college football has its own twists and turns. And for every team, you have ups and downs. That's what makes it so fun. It's not just the journey is more important than the destination, like more fun. Rather, you really enjoy just getting to see what happens as the season goes along. So I'm looking forward to talking about it tonight, and glad we got to do the show.
All right. So the first major thing that happened this week. Well, shout out to Army for beating Temple, staying
Hey,
unbeaten.
Army and Navy are looking good, both 4-0, very impressive.
Navy's throwing it a bit too.
Got to switch it up a little bit. I like it.
But the thing everyone's talking about was Virginia Tech, the Hokies taking on Miami.
Virginia Tech, you had your shot to expose Miami. You had your shot to say, hey, we're going to knock them down. Every year Miami does this against an inferior opponent. And Virginia Tech is a vastly inferior opponent. Like they lost to Vanderbilt. They're not a great team, but they still have decent enough players. In Miami, are they trustworthy? Are they really good this year? A lot of people are hyping up Miami. I think this game proves that Miami might not be solid, but you're not supposed to go out there and barely beat Virginia Tech if you're a great team. You
At
got to do
home.
better than at home. Like, it's not on the road. It's not in Blacksburg. It's not, Inner Sandman time. Like, you're at home. And I know their home atmosphere is not good and all that. I get all that.
It was
Listening to Coral
decent.
Gable. It was decent, but still not what it used to be
Yeah.
when it was at the other location in Miami. But still, like, for Miami, good job that you got the win. Controversial ending. I guess they got the call right. I've looked at it. But if Miami was a great team, this wouldn't have happened. I think they're still going to slip up somewhere. They're going to do it. They almost did it here. And Virginia Tech, they're just having a rough season so far. Even though they're not a horrible team, they're just not getting wins.
Hard Rock Cafe. Yeah, Hard Rock, definitely not the best home field advantage. Maybe a bit better in the NFL than it is for college.
Oh, it's definitely better than the NFL. I agree. Should have never left the Orange Bowl. I mean, the thing is, people have been talking about this for a long time. And if you have a great home atmosphere, even when your team's not that great, sometimes it can help aid you to victories. Their home crowd most of the time is horrible because it's not even, it's miles away from Miami. It's not conveniently located in any way, shape, or form. It's just dumb to have it there. It is what it is. That's Miami's problem, but they need to get their problems together on the field as well, or they will slip up eventually.
Mm-hmm. And you show, like, Tootin had a great game. If you have a decent offensive line, a good running back, you can put up yards against Miami.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Ward did his job, 343 yards and 4 touchdowns, but, like, if Miami, again, was a great team, they wouldn't have given up 34 to Virginia Tech. I mean, they let Virginia Tech have a great offensive game. Better than Vanderbilt. Like Miami allowed Virginia Tech to have a better game offensively than Vanderbilt did. That's a problem. That does not look good when you are supposedly the 7th ranked team in the country as they were when they played this game. Just not a good look at all. I mean, like I said, happy for Miami fans. Coach, Coop, good for him, that he didn't have a meltdown. But, I mean, it kind of, in a way, would have been hilarious if Miami lost, though. It would have been funny because they always do this. But I'm glad for him that Miami won. But I'm just not confident they're going to keep winning, though.
Yeah, and it's not indisputable video evidence, in my opinion, if it takes 7 minutes to review it. I think that Hail Mary should have stood. I think the Hokies should have won, but we'll
Yeah, I
see.
agree. And see, the thing is, Will, I said the same thing on another show. I said the same thing. I'm like, indisputable evidence, 7 minutes to review it. Like, you really couldn't tell for sure, right? So it should have stood. I agree. Virginia Tech would have won the game, but then people were telling me, well, he didn't catch it. I know for sure he didn't catch it. Well, if he didn't catch it, that's fine, but could you really tell, though? It was so hard, right? So I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It's a bang-bang play. If Virginia Tech got the call, they win the game, is what it is. Miami would have lost, but it's just one of those situations where at the end of the day, like, the fact Miami still won and it literally took them having to overturn a call like that, controversial Hail Mary, it just shows that they escaped the skin of their teeth. It's not impressive in any way. But I agree with you. I think they actually should have given it to Virginia Tech, but I got ratioed when I said it. Everybody was like, no, they did the right call, but I agree with you. I think it was indisputable, but it is what it is.
The Scarlet Knights stay undefeated in Piscataway. Great environment for
Told
Rutgers.
you to pick Rutgers, man.
I would have been right if Washington's kicker wouldn't have missed 2 or was it 3 field goals he missed?
I think it might have been 3.
Yeah.
The funny thing is normally the kicker for Washington is good. Grady Gross, I think's his name.
Mm.
He's usually pretty good. But, yeah, he missed some field goals. But I agree. Rutgers, kudos to Rutgers environment. I don't normally give Rutgers kudos ever, but they're not bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're not bad. I mean, Indiana's getting more of the headlines right now, as they should, because, I mean, it's Indiana. Like, they've been trash, the last 3 years. And they're breaking records that they've been upheld since the 60s, going 5-0 for the first time since 1967. And now they're ranked and they've looked great. So Indiana deserves the headlines in the Big Ten for surprise, but Rutgers has been good too. Absolutely. It's just, I think the fact like Rutgers made a bowl game last year, they're not really as much of a surprise. That's why they're not getting as much attention. But they do deserve it, and they got a good run game. Their passing game is a little bit better, still not great, but it's better. And yeah, I mean, Washington should have won, so I will give you credit. Will absolutely should have won, but they didn't. And Rutgers starting out 4-0, huge for them.
All right. Surprised that Washington's running back. I mean, I guess because Rutgers uses 2 running backs, but it was surprising that Coleman outrushed Monangai.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think it's probably the dual effect. I mean, it's harder to rack up yards when you're splitting the backfield. But I agree. Kind of shocking.
The Irish got kind of snuck away with this one against Louisville. This was it was a very entertaining game, but it was kind of an ugly game. Both teams turned the ball over a lot. But at the end of the day, it was the Irish that ended up pulling through with the defense having to stand. After Rutgers got a 4th and 1, it turns out they snapped it too late. It was to delay a game, and then it was 4th and 6, and Shug had an incompletion to end the game for the Irish. Unfortunately, it was on Peacock, so Jeffrey couldn't see it. But did you watch any highlights of it, Jeffrey, at all? Or
yeah, I think I did briefly see some on X, some highlights. And I mean, all I can say is yet again, if Notre Dame gave this effort against Northern Illinois, they'd be undefeated right now. It's like Notre Dame, you've done well, you've done good, like legit. Louisville, solid win. A&M, solid win. I mean, you're doing all right. Notre Dame, looking pretty solid. It's just that game, man. It's still so frustrating. I'm not even a Notre Dame fan, and it still irritates me for you and just the fact, like, they should be undefeated right now. It's just ridiculous. But, yeah, they weren't perfect at all whatsoever. But I do think that, it shows that Notre Dame can beat a, quality opponent for the second game in a row, time that they play. Like A&M, they did that, like, on the road, now getting one at home and getting revenge as well because Louisville beat them last year. I still don't really know what to make of Notre Dame. I think they're a top 15 team for sure, but they don't look like it at times. It's just weird. I mean, they have their moments. Like, they played a lot better in the first half and in the second half. So it's like, and then look at the Miami-Ohio game. Notre Dame played better in the second half than in the first. Consistently, Notre Dame's not consistently playing well. That's the problem. They play well in one half, not the next, and that's just the weird thing about it. So Yeah, and Louisville, they didn't play bad, but
Mm-hmm.
you know they fell short. I mean, I think they're a good team. You know, Austin squad's good, just couldn't get it done. But I will say though, and credit to your Irish man, because you sent me that tweet. You sent me that tweet that one guy, like they were telling him to sit down.
It
He
was just
kept
because it was
standing
a
up.
big game, man. It must have been
That's
because it was a
good.
big game.
Thank you. Keep doing that, Notre Dame. No
Usually
more
the
whining.
usually the big games are at night. So and the wine and cheese fans don't go to those games, but since this was a game at home, that
Yeah, I mean, get rid of those wine and cheese,
yeah.
man. Well, I mean, I'm done with that. I'll make another update video if it keeps happening, Notre Dame. You know what? You got to stop this. You got to stop it. You got to get that behind you, man. It helps you win when your fans are loud and they're standing up. So, good job for Notre Dame. You might be getting a little bit better. John Marzullo saying Notre Dame
Oh man.
2021 Pitt. Losing a lousy MAC team for no reason. Dave said, how in the heck was this game on Peacock?
Well, it's because I think it was a contract thing. Like they had to
Yeah.
have one of their bigger games on Peacock. Unfortunately,
They're doing everything they can to get people to watch Peacock. I mean, they're not like putting the elite game on there, but they're putting a game that people are going to want to watch. You know, because, I mean, you had Illinois and Penn State on NBC, so they had the NBC slot filled. So it's like, since Notre Dame has the NBC contract, they put it on Peacock because Penn State, Illinois probably would have gotten more views. So I don't know. Again, it is what it is. Stupid, though. We also got Scotty B. Appreciates for stopping by. So you can't get away with playing solid one half, the other half bad. And that's Notre Dame's problem. One half, they play like a top 10 team, 15 team. Next half, they play like they're not even ranked. That's the problem with Notre Dame. It's not consistent play. And then Dave says wine and cheese sounds like
the Stanford people just don't show up. So
yeah,
that's
like, how are they wine and cheese if they're not there?
Yeah. But shout out to my Irish, the only team in the country with 2 wins over ranked teams. So
yeah, and both those teams are still ranked too. So that helps. A&M kind of holding through for now. We'll see if they keep it up.
I'm hoping that Louisville will hold through, and they play both Clemson and Miami, and they play Miami at home. So I'm hoping Louisville can pull through with an upset win. I don't think this Louisville team's on last year's. I think they're about the same, but this Louisville team just has a harder schedule than
See, that's the thing, and that's what I was actually about to say. You beat me to it there, because the thing is, and this is what Austin, I know Austin knew, but you know, when you do love a team, I get it. Like when you love a team, you're gonna kind of have blinders sometimes. I mean, sometimes I can do the same thing. You know, I try not to. I really try to be objective, but a lot of Louisville fans just did not understand last year that their schedule last season was crap. It was horrible. And that's why they won as many games as they did. I mean, anybody remember that Virginia game last year? I know North Carolina lost to Virginia, but North Carolina was trash, and they're still bad. But Louisville barely beat Virginia. Okay, a good team, a legit top 10 team does not do that. All right? So, like you said, I think Louisville, literally, I actually think that their team this year is like dead even with last year's team. I think it is like no better, no worse. I think it's the exact same. Exact same. Solid team. But they're going to end up losing more games this year. They're going to have a worse record this year. Everybody's going to be like, oh, Louisville took a step back. No, they didn't. Same team. The exact same team. It's no different. It's just the fact they got a harder schedule. Some people just don't look at that. I don't know why they don't. It's just facts. It's like Indiana, for example. Indiana next year could have maybe even a better team than this year, but their schedule's harder next year. It's going to be harder next year. So you know what? They're not going to win as many games. That's why this season could be the special one, because they got the schedule that sets up for it. You have to have a good, easy schedule. If your schedule's hard, you know, you're not going to do as good. It's just the way it works. We got Clint Moses as well stopping by. I appreciate that, Clint Moses. And Troy V as well. He said Peacock is terrible. Yeah. Peacock.
Well, they got Burmeister. They had Paul Burmeister and Jason Gary doing the Notre Dame Louisville game. So they're all right.
Yeah, it's all right, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely not that great. Because I was watching like last year when Indiana basketball played on Peacock, and when I was watching the highlights for the games, I'm like, man, these commentators are terrible. It was really bad. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
They put the full game on Notre Dame's YouTube channel, so you can watch the game now if y'all want. But
that's good. Yeah, I definitely saw enough of highlights, but I'll check it out if I have time.
Texas and Mississippi State, a bit of a sleepy performance by Texas.
I don't even know what to make of this performance. I mean, Mississippi State's awful. Like, they're really bad. I mean, Florida beat them by 17. That should tell you everything you need to know right there at Mississippi State. But, I mean, Texas did their job. I mean, they didn't leave any doubt. They won comfortably. But, yeah, I mean, with, people saying, oh, Texas, best team in the country, they, number one, whatever, probably should have beat them by more. But, it was their first foray into the SEC. First foray into SEC play. So, got to give them, some slack. Maybe they're easing their way into it. And it is Arch Manning, too. It is Arch Manning. Quinn, I know he had a good game, but I still think Ewers gives him a bit more right now. But and plus, Scotty B says, I think Texas is looking ahead to bye week in Oklahoma. Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, they won this game. There's really nothing to discuss. I mean, it wasn't close. They didn't destroy them like they should have. They just won. So no one's really going to care about this result at the end of the season as long as Texas makes the playoff.
In the game of the week, Georgia and Alabama. What a crazy game.
All I know is when I saw Alabama in that first half, I'm like, this is the best team in college football. Like, not even close. This team, oh my Lord. I mean, they're destroying Georgia. Georgia, the team that people think is either the first, second, or third best team in the country, and Alabama is just laying the woodshed on them. Just absolutely destroying them. I was like, wow, Alabama's running the ball. They're throwing the ball, and they're stopping Georgia every single possession. It was insane, right? And then the second half happened. Oh, my Lord. Georgia just comes storming back. And Alabama, their offense stopped. I mean, I don't know if they got too conservative because they're like, we're ahead by so much. I don't know what the reasoning was behind it, but they couldn't do anything on offense. Their defense was giving up scores. And then Georgia took the lead. One pass, 67 yards for Georgia, and they're up 34-33. And then Ryan Williams, after what he did earlier in the game with that video game, 6 times bobbling in the air, catching the ball, he does another big play, catching the ball, spins around twice on off the defenders, and he scores a 75-yard touchdown in one play after Georgia had the one big touchdown play, and Alabama takes the lead. And then they pick off Georgia on the final drive of the game in the end zone to seal the win. And I'm just like, you know what? Even though it would have been nice for Bama just to destroy them like they were in the first half, kind of glad this game ended up being close. What a thriller. They scared me. My heart rate was going. But Alabama still tops in the SEC. It ain't Georgia. They're not the top dogs. It's still Alabama without saving. Absolutely. What a game. What a win. Unreal.
So I was watching this game and I'm like, holy crap, Bama is like Kirby just can't beat Bama, man. Kirby he got him once, but I wish I was a fly on the wall on Kirby's halftime speech, man, because he had I remember someone tapped him doing his pregame speech against TCU. Man, I was curious what he would have said in that halftime speech, man. He would have went off on him, but yeah.
It must have worked because they came out, firing on all cylinders. I mean, no one was expecting him to come back, except like the commentators. Obviously, the commentators did. They're like, oh, Georgia, they're gonna make a run for this thing. They're gonna make it interesting. I was like, I think Bama's got it. I mean, I wasn't like at no point was like the game was completely over. I know Georgia's Georgia, but I can't believe Georgia stormed back the way they did. It was just insane. It was a complete 360, and then Bama just finding a way. Ryan Williams is unbelievable. I know the debate between him and Jeremiah Smith. I understand that. I get who's better. They're both great. I don't really care. I don't care who's better.
Right now, to me, Smith looks like the better catcher, like pure wide receiver, but Ryan Williams is just a freaky athlete.
That's the point, man. Ryan Williams is more fun. He is if you don't want to say he's the best receiver, that's fine, but he's the most fun player to watch out of all the wide receivers in college football so far this season. He is fun. He makes the real life version of football look like a video game. And that's something that most guys can't do. Jeremiah Smith's unreal. I mean, again, he's freaking real. He's great. And he's going to be a great pro. And he has got the better body for being a wide receiver. I get all that. But Ryan Williams is just sick. He's absolutely sick. I enjoy watching that guy play.
Mhm.
Even if I wasn't an Alabama fan, I would be enjoying watching him play. It doesn't matter where he's at. He's just that good. But I'm glad he's at Alabama because he's fun to watch and he's just fun to talk about.
Carson Beck, I always thought this guy was overrated. 27 for 50 in a big game is rough, man. Like, I know he threw for a lot of yards, but you can't have that many incompletions and be a Heisman contender. I think
I agree.
Milroe definitely passed him for sure.
He was terrible in the first half. He was terrible in the first half, but he did get it together in the second half. I will give him credit there that he did. You know, he showed to people that he can perform. Like, because there's a lot of people that don't think he's that good. And I'm kind of one of those people. And I've said this tons of times. I don't honestly think that Carson Beck is the best quarterback in the world. I don't think so. But after that first half, I'm like, see, I think all of us, naysayers of Beck are correct here. He's not good. Second half, he played better. He played a lot better, and he showcased the talent and skill that he has. He showcased it in that second half. He does have talent and skill, but the problem is he's not consistent. He just isn't. That second half, if he had to play like that all game, Georgia might win the game. And yeah, he was being pressured some. He's getting pressured a lot more than Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett was just able to sit back there all game and never get sacked. Whereas Carson Beck, he has to worry about that more. But still, it's just one of those things where he, like you said, too many incompletions. He just did not play well enough to get the win at the end of the day and had the pick at the end. So it is what it is. I think the second half made people kind of tune back into him a little bit, that he is good, but he still needs a lot more improving to become the quarterback that a lot of people think that, he can be. Stephen Cherry's checking in. Appreciate that, Stephen Cherry. And Scotty V saying, what's more of a thriller, the game or the song Thriller?
Probably the game.
Sure, I'll take the game. Yeah, I mean, the song is fantastic. The 80s pop. Michael Jackson, iconic music video, all that kind of stuff. It's great. But, man, you can't beat a college football game that is a thriller. You can't beat it. I don't know. Sorry, Michael. I probably have to go with college football just by a little bit. A thriller of a game. Absolutely. And then we got Moses saying DeBoer deserves more credit. He's beaten Dar in the past and Kirby. Yeah, he's good. Kalen DeBoer is a great coach. I'm so glad Alabama got him to replace Saban. And then Sonny Verma saying, good evening, gents. Appreciate that, Sonny Verma. We got a good group in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys.
I have to ask you this. Mm-hmm. I saw this LSU guy, Matt Moscona, after the game. Mm-hmm. He was saying, oh, man, Kalen DeBoer, man, he's not that good of a coach. He barely almost blew the game, man. He's just like Les Miles, man. He's just like Les Miles replacing Nick Saban. What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, that is just such a cop-out, thing to say. You're replacing the greatest coach of all time, just like Les Miles did. But before Nick Saban had as much cred as he does now. He had one title then. Now he's got 7. And that's how much he'll end up with. He's not going to coach anymore. But still, the thing is, I will say, the one thing that bugs me about DeBoer, and I will say he needs to get better at this, the one thing that's irritating is that his clock management is bad. I don't understand what was going on in that game where, let's just snap the ball with 20 seconds left on the shot clock, or not the shot clock, it's basketball, on the freaking game clock. What are we doing here? Burn clock. At the end of the day, it worked out for Bama because if they had to burn more clock and didn't do anything on offense, Georgia would have scored, and then Alabama wouldn't have had time to respond maybe. So it worked out, but in a lot of games, burning clock is good. You want to burn clock, and he did not burn clock. They had no clock awareness. I didn't know what was going on with that. So he does need to get better at certain things, but he is a good coach. He's better than Les Miles. Come on. No. No.
Do you think that these two teams will meet in the SEC championship game, if you had to guess?
That Georgia-Texas game is going to be the key. If Georgia beats Texas, yes. If Georgia beats Texas, then yes, they will. But if Georgia loses to Texas, probably not.
Tennessee also will have a chance. For
Tennessee
sure.
will have a chance too. Alabama at 10. The two games that really matter right now is Alabama at Tennessee and Georgia, Texas. Those two games, because I think the results of those games are going to determine. Like, if Alabama can still make the SEC championship game if they lose that game, if they win all the other games. But then when you look at a team like Georgia, they might be eliminated with another loss.
Mhm.
2 losses, maybe those other teams won't even accumulate, and 2 whatever. So, like, yeah, those two games, I think. If Georgia beats Texas, they'll have a shot still. And if Alabama loses to Tennessee, then Tennessee will have a shot, a crack at it. So it's going to be interesting. But, yes, I will say if Georgia beats Texas, then I think they'll meet. But we'll see.
Tennessee also has to go to Athens, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, true. That's true. There's a lot of interesting games left. Hey, Georgia might lose 3 games.
Georgia might not make the playoff.
If Georgia lost 3 games, oh, man. Because the thing is like that Kentucky game, like you gave it a slide, but then they just lost this one. They got Texas, Tennessee. Not easy. See, Georgia could hide behind that SEC East, Like they could do that. Now they can't anymore. It's not as easy. So I agree, Scotty B, 110%. If Georgia only has 2 losses, they're making the playoffs. If they have 3, though, no, I don't think they will.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, the odds are probably Texas, Alabama, but we'll see. We'll see. What happens.
It's definitely probably the odds are Texas, Alabama, but those odds will shift if Georgia beats Texas for sure.
Ole Miss. We thought that they would be first off, I'll say good job, Ohio State taking care of this.
When you skipped it, I didn't even.
I don't want to skip, but we have a big Columbus contingent here.
Yeah, I will say, okay. Thank you, Ohio State Buckeyes fans, Steven and Troy. Like, you guys are awesome. I always appreciate you guys for being here. But you guys were like, this game just. We won. Like, who cares? Like, you won. You did what you're supposed to do. So I don't know.
But Kentucky beating Ole Miss. Ole Miss, fraudulent. A fraudulent team this season.
Ole Miss, man. I'm telling you, Will, this is why I said Judkins. Man. I said if Ole Miss had a shot to win a natty, a slim chance, they needed Judkins, and they didn't keep him because he went to the Buckeyes, and that is why Ole Miss lost his game. And the fact that for whatever reason, and I don't understand this, but Trey Harris is the only guy that Dart throws the ball to.
Yeah, that's a
problem. Like, you can't throw the ball to one guy, and that's it. You just can't do that, right? Like, that's what Maryland's problem was when they played Indiana, and we'll get to that, right? Like, they have Ty Felton, and they don't have anything else. So they just kept throwing it to the same dude. You're going to eventually figure it out. You have to have at least 2 receivers you got to worry about, not 1. And obviously Ole Miss has a Trey Harris problem because he's the only guy that catches balls. So, yeah, Ole Miss, disappointing. I would have never thought they'd have lost this game. And, I mean, I know Kentucky was impressive against Georgia and all that, but I still was like, no. They're not winning this game.
Their lines of scrimmage is also, like, I feel like Kentucky just won the lines of scrimmage. That's a big deal.
Kind of interesting, Will, too. You remember last week I asked the question, who had a better shot to win, Kentucky over Ole Miss or Minnesota over Michigan? I think you said Kentucky, if I recall. I think I remember you saying that, and they both almost did. They both almost did, but Kentucky actually did. So, congratulations on that assessment, Will. You did good because I remember you said Kentucky had a better shot, and I would have gone with Minnesota.
Well, Ole Miss just never played anyone, man. Like, we haven't seen how they responded to getting punched in the mouth, and it wasn't good for.
Well, they didn't respond worth anything. They didn't respond at all. So yeah, it's insane. Dave Valensky says Indiana Kentucky playoff matchup. Well, Indiana's got a better chance than Kentucky to make.
Kentucky has to win out.
2 losses. That's the problem for them. If they didn't have that South Carolina loss, then 4-1, it'd still have a shot. Or if they did beat Georgia, but yeah, their chances aren't that great, unfortunately. We also got Traveling Fools.
What's up, Tia? Congrats.
That. And Clint Moses, to answer your question really quick, I still think Mullins goes to Indiana. I do, because he's from Indiana.
You kind of need him now.
Yeah, Harrelson. man, congrats, Will. That you got Harrelson, but man, I wanted Harrelson. Come on, man. I would be okay with Mullins going to UNC because obviously Clint, I like UNC too. But Indiana, I think needs them more, especially because
I mean, Indiana. I love how Indiana Twitter, man. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna get Harrelson." They're like, "Oh no, Mullins. We wanted Mullins the whole time. We wanted Mullins the whole time."
Indiana Twitter and basketball. I love you guys, but man, what are you doing sometimes? Like, you did want Harrelson. Come on, you wanted Harrelson. And it's like, oh, we're good. We didn't need Harrelson. Like, no, you did. You did. Oh, my gosh. Come on. And Scotty B, that's a great get for Baylor. I'm going to try to get back into the college basketball coverage. Just got a lot of stuff going on right now with college football and, all that kind of stuff. But definitely, I'm keeping my eye on college basketball. Thanks for the update. It's good for Baylor. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, man, Harrelson, that hurts, man. Mm-hmm. That hurts.
Penn State, not easy, but they get the win over the Illini. Illini could be a sneaky little playoff team.
Yeah, definitely a misleading score line. You look at 21-7 and you're like, Penn State did their job. This was a close game. Legit. It was a close game. Just unfortunately for Illinois, after they scored in the first quarter, they couldn't score again. You can't do that. Like, they needed to score again, but they tried. I think Illinois is good. I think they're good, but unfortunately, they're not great. And to beat Penn State at Penn State at night, you got to be a great team. Illinois is not a great team. They're a good team. They got a big win over Nebraska. They're a solid team. They're just not a great team. Because whatever people say about Penn State, I know they're overrated every year. They're not as good as Michigan, Ohio State. But to beat them in Happy Valley at night, you got to be a great team. Mm-hmm. And they just couldn't get it done. But at least they gave them a fight.
I mean, Illinois, they have that Oregon game, and they have Oregon at Oregon, and then they have that game in Ann Arbor that at home against Michigan. They have to win that game against Michigan, and then maybe they'll get in at 10-2.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Think about this: if Illinois goes 10-2, and Indiana goes 10-2, who are they putting in? Probably Illinois. Probably Illinois, but we'll see. That would be interesting. If Indiana's 11-1, they're in the playoffs. But man, I just have a hard time seeing them going 11-1. That's a little bit too much. 10-2 is more likely, but it's gonna be tough for Illinois to even do that. I think 9-3, 8-4 is more probable. But yeah, if Illinois goes 10-2, especially because they are ranked at 24th with one loss, whereas Indiana is undefeated and they're only at 23. That does lean Illinois' way there.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a shot.
There's a shot for sure. Utah, man. Having Cam Rising hurt him this week. It didn't hurt him against Oklahoma State, but it hurt him at home against Arizona.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Utah, Wilson, Zach Wilson's brother, right? Isaac Wilson. He was only at 50% completion percentage. It's not good enough. 20 of 40. Man, this sucks, man. Like I'm not a Utah fan, but I like Whittingham. And they're a fun team.
Definitely, probably my favorite Big 12 team. Them and West Virginia.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree. I mean, I like Kansas, with Leopold, but man, they're trash now. Again, West Virginia, I know Joey. I mean, I love that fan base. Cracks me up though. They crack me up, man. That whole Neil Brown stuff. Just every year, it's a swing. It's funny. Every game, it's a swing. But yeah, I like Utah though. Underrated program, even though people have. Woke up to them the past few years. I like Whittingham. He does great things with less talent. But yeah, Shoddy does retire. I don't know. That's a good thing. That's a good point, Scotty B. I hope he doesn't. But yeah, I mean, the issue is Cam Rising can't stay healthy. And I just wonder if he ever will come back. I wonder. I really, really do, because he's just never healthy.
Singer did nothing for USC, but I guess he's doing all right at Utah.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, he had 155 receiving yards.
So he went from Arizona to USC to Utah. He was at Arizona, right? Before USC?
Yes. And the thing is that he actually did good at Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Did good at Arizona, bombed at USC, and then he's done good at Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So interesting there. Clint Moses said he roots for Arizona State. That's his go-to.
I like Arizona State. Oh, no, enough.
Yeah, they're in the top half. Well, who's your least favorite Big 12 team? Do you have one? Cincinnati.
Really, just a weird Oklahoma State and Kansas State have weird fans. Them, I don't know, on Twitter.
It's all about Twitter. Like, it's not even about like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't have any attachment to the school, so it's about who. Like,
yeah,
how
like
good are you?
they're just all kind of mid to me, right? Like none of
Yeah.
them really stand out except like
Mhm.
Utah. Like, yeah, isn't that funny though? Like the Big 12 is like the conference where all the teams are just kind of the same. Like you don't hate them, you don't really love them. You know what I'm saying? Like in all the other conferences, like SEC, Big 10, ACC, there's some teams in there that you just don't like.
Yeah,
Big 12
like
is just
whoever goes after my buddy Tony Altimore is probably
yeah. Hey, every team's got weird fans though. I've learned that the hard way, man. Being on social media, you know, lately the past couple years, I'm not a social media person. I can't stand social media, but talking college football, you kind of got to be on social media. And yes, some fans are nuts. I mean, I know why, but you know, sometimes go a little overboard. Hummus Hero says, hello, Jeffrey, Will, and everyone in chat. Appreciate that, Hummus Hero. And then we got Scotty B.
Scotty, what are you doing, Scotty?
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious. He blocked me, but I blocked him back. Oh, no. Oh, boy. So Scotty B and Tony have blocked each other. That's crazy.
Right.
I don't block people. I just something
if you block people, I'm not going to say, to me, blocking people is just showing you're letting them win.
The only time that I've blocked anybody is like them bots. You know, them stupid fake bot people.
I gotta admit, a lot of my followers are bots, but I'm like, you know what? I like having more followers, so I just keep them on there.
I will say I've blocked a couple of them, but I have left most of them because, I mean, they don't do anything. The only ones I block, Will, are the ones that write you. Have you ever had any of them write you?
I just never write them back.
Yeah, I don't. But the thing is, like, all those are just trash accounts, right? But the thing is, like, I don't block any college football fan, even because I've had some. Like, I had one guy that just literally attacked the crap out of me because I said that the Dallas Cowboys were not complete garbage. I said that they were like mid, and like, no, they're trash. You're an idiot. You don't know anything. And he was just like saying a bunch of cuss words and all this kind of junk. And like, I still didn't block the guy. Like, I'm not going to block him just because he said stuff like that to me. Like, that's fine. It's Twitter, you know? Like, I understand that. I just don't get into blocking. I don't do that. And, like, in my chat on YouTube, I've never blocked anybody except that one time we had a bot. That was those malicious, scams or whatever. But I don't block people. I mean, I know why some people do, but like you said, Will, it either just makes you look weak or it just makes you look like, you're just kind of a jerk, I guess. Like, it just doesn't make you look good. Either way you go, when you block people and the other person really hasn't done anything wrong, it just makes you look bad. I don't know. I just don't do it, and I probably never will do it because I think it's kind of dumb. So,
yeah. The good old onside kick controversy between Michigan and Minnesota.
Man, that games like this give me hope that Indiana has a shot against Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Games like this. Because Minnesota's not rolling the boat all that good. They're just not having a whole lot of success. And look at that. The fourth quarter, Minnesota almost beats Michigan. I don't even know what to say. We got Blue Wolverine. Appreciate Blue Wolverine for stopping by right on perfect timing. Absolutely. You probably heard what I said. It's like still laughing out loud. I'm just saying, man, Michigan, it's a little sketchy. I think they're a good team. I do. I mean, they got tons of talent. And the defense has guys who are going to be playing on Sundays. Tons of that. They're good. But the problem is they're not consistent because they look good. I saw them blowing out Minnesota. I'm like, it's all good. And then they let them come back. And I agree with Scotty B. They let them back in. It's tough for Minnesota. This would have been a huge game for Fleck. Huge game to get Fleck back on track, like save his career, at Minnesota's tenure. But man, he just cannot catch a break. So, yeah. And Dave says, let me say this about Michigan, Minnesota. Minnesota gave Michigan 14 points off of turnovers. There wouldn't have been a need for an onside kick if those turnovers didn't happen. So there you go. Minnesota had a shot to win, and they kind of blew it, even though they made the game really interesting. So Michigan, a lot to clean up before you got some pretty solid opponents down the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm. Do you think hiring Sherrone Moore is the right decision for Michigan?
Oh, hiring him? Probably not.
Mm.
I mean, I don't think he's horrible. I really don't. The issue is that when you talk about the fact that he did what he did for Harbaugh when Harbaugh was out, it made him look great. But he also had Harbaugh's team. It's sometimes hard to screw that up. When you have the players, you got the team, the foundation set, you just do the best you can to emulate what Harbaugh would do. And Sherrone did that. Now it's his team. And all those great players from last year are gone. And see, the thing is, even with Harbaugh, Michigan would have been worse this year. Even with Harbaugh. Even if they did get a transfer quarterback, they'd have been a worse team. They were really, really good last year. There's no way they were going to be as good as they were last year. The problem is they got a lot of issues on their team, and Michigan fans don't want to see that because they just want a title. They want to be good again, and they're good, but they're not great. And that's what's going to irritate Michigan fans, especially if they have 3 or 4 losses. Now, will they have 3 or 4 losses? Highly probable if they had a loss to USC, but since they won that game, probably only 2 or 3 at max. But that's still not what Michigan fans want to see. They're not a great team. They're just not. And I think Sherrone is not a great coach, but we'll see if he can stick it out. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Alex Grinch almost, it looked for like a first second, Alex Grinch would get his revenge on Wisconsin.
And see, here's the issue, Will. Right here, USC's not a great team either. They're not a great team. But, so like Michigan beating them, good win for Michigan, but like USC beating LSU, how good of a win was that? All these teams, the Michigans, the LSUs, the USCs, they're all good. They're all good, and their talent is mostly great, but are they great football teams? I mean, it depends on how you qualify or quantify great. When I think of great, I think of the top 10 teams in college football. I don't think any of these 3 are. I don't. They all have flaws. USC is a better defensive team this year. I will give them that. But their offense isn't Caleb Williams either. It just isn't. So it's just interesting. I mean, kudos to USC for turning around a 21-10 deficit and then ended up winning comfortably in the end. But if they lost this game, that'd have been humiliating. Because, I mean, Wisconsin's not a good team anymore. I mean, with Van Dymes, they were all right at best. Without Van Dymes, they're bad. The backup, Braden Locke's not good. And they can't run the ball. Because look at that. USC's leading rusher at 63 yards. Like, usually Wisconsin always has a running back with 150 yards in a game. They don't have that. Why? Because they can't throw the football. And for whatever reason, now that Paul Chryst is gone and Wisconsin's trying to transition from being a running team to kind of a dual threat offense, here's the problem with that. Now that they have a garbage quarterback, unfortunately, in Braden Locke, I mean, he's not the worst I've seen. He's not good. So their passing attack's bad. Now their rushing attack's nowhere near as good. Their O-line isn't even as good. Wisconsin's just a mess. And Luke Fickell's trying to make them a modern offense. It's just not working. Not working consistently enough. Maybe he can get there, but we don't know how many more years he's going to get because even Wisconsin fans are starting to get a little mad at Fickell. So it's just interesting. I mean, if they had kept playing like they did in the first half, they might have won, but USC took care of business eventually. And there we go. We got Tim. Perfect timing. What's up, Will? Appreciate you stopping by, Tim. But USC needs better, consistent defense all throughout the game, and they need their offense to still hit another gear if USC wants to compete in the Big Ten.
Jacoby Lane's a dude, though, man. He's impressive. He'll probably be I mean, maybe not as good as Amon-Ra, but him and Taj Washington, I'm sure.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown is unbelievable. Yeah. He's good.
I think maybe he can be a Drake London, Jacoby Lane. Maybe a Drake London. Would he say so, Tim?
That's
Do you think
fair.
he'll be as good as Drake London in the league? I know you're not a big NFL guy.
Dave says, I don't know if Fickle's thinking you have to be able to recruit wide receivers and quarterbacks if you're going to be a passing team. Wisconsin can't do that. Yeah. I mean, like I said, he's just in a pickle. Fickle's in a pickle because of the fact that you're talking about a team that, again, was always such a rushing team, a rushing attack, and now you're trying to make them a passing attack, passing offense, and it's just not really working all that well. So it's going to be interesting. Steven says, who would have thought Indiana would have been the best state of Indiana? Well, I know Will's going to disagree with that, but I'm okay with that statement from Steven. I'm absolutely okay with that statement. I know Will disagrees. I probably would say Notre Dame probably got the better coach. Indiana's probably got the better coach.
It will be a good game. I would say it will be a good game.
Notre Dame would probably win. I would pick Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's a better team with talent. It's not even close. But Indiana's really good with what they got. Really good. So the fact it's a conversation, that's cool. Jason's here in the chat as well. Appreciate that, Jason. Man, that favorite comment of the night from Steven right here. Absolutely. Oh, man.
Clemson and Stanford, not the prettiest game percentage-wise from Klubnik, but, I mean, Wesco's a dude, man. Brian Wesco, what a breakout start this season for Clemson.
Yeah, it's something that Clemson is drastically needed, right? In the fact that, like, they've had some good receivers in the past, and lately they have not really had that many good receivers. Now they have a good receiver. So that's good. That's maybe a sign Clemson's getting there. You know, they're starting to get better again. Maybe they can win the ACC. They still could win the ACC. They could. You know, I mean, they're undefeated in the ACC, so they can win the ACC. Yeah, I agree, Jason. It looks like Clemson's getting better. I'm telling you. They're not what they were when they were winning titles, but they're getting better. They're better this year. Their offense is better this year, so that's good.
It looked like I was watching the beginning of this game before. Tim had to bring up Dwayne Jarrett. All right, man.
Hey, you know Tim gonna troll you, man. You know he's gonna troll you.
But oh my gosh.
He got Trojan Blade as well.
Trojan Blade here too. But to me, it looked like I was watching the beginning of this game because it was like right before Georgia, Alabama. Mm-hmm. And Clemson, of course, got a quick touchdown. But then Stanford, it looked like they scored a touchdown, but they fumbled it in the back fumbled it. I think it was at the back of the end zone, man. So it would have been interesting to see if Stanford could have hung around a bit. But Clemson pulled away and won. But I think Stanford's better than last year, but it's a low bar. It's a low bar.
Yeah, they're better than last year. I still think that, but yeah, it's not by much. I was hoping for Stanford fans, like, you know what? I think that they're, decent, like solidly, better this year. It's slim. It's not much. They're not a good team, but they are better.
Mm-hmm. Iowa State would have liked a little more offense out of Iowa State, but they do look like one of the better teams in the Big 12, being up on Houston.
Yeah, Houston's bad though, man. I mean, I don't really know how impressive it is to blank Houston. I mean, Willie Fritz is their coach. Willie Fritz.
It's a rebuild, man. It's a rebuild.
Dude, it is a massive rebuild. I mean, like I thought Willie Fritz could come in there and maybe win 5 games. They're bad, dude. Like, they legit could go 1-11, like Scotty B said, and it would not shock me. I think they might win. I don't know, though. Maybe not. They're bad. They're really bad. Ugh. Iowa State, though, Matt Campbell, getting them back to form. It's good.
Oklahoma State and Kansas State, the Avery Johnson show, man. Avery Johnson had a great game in this one.
I switched this one. BYU.
I bounced back. I switched this one. I was to Kentucky Ole Miss in the second half, but I watched the first half, man, until in the beginning of the second half when Avery Johnson I mean, until they pulled away. But Avery Johnson, man, definitely plays better at home than on the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's fine and dandy, to play great at home, but you need to be able to play good at home and on the road. And that's probably going to be the next step for Avery Johnson, because at BYU, they were trash.
Mm-hmm.
They were terrible. I would have never thought, Will, they would have lost that game 38-9. Like, if they lose 7 points, 3 points, maybe 10, they lost by 28. 29 points by 29. They were horrible. And then they turn back around and do this. Now, obviously, I don't think Oklahoma State's that good. Remember when people saying they were going to win the Big 12? Nah, that's not happening. So, yeah. I think Kansas State is a good team, but Avery Johnson going to have to find – that's his next step. Going to have to find a way to play just as good on the road as they do at home.
Oklahoma and Auburn.
Auburn tried, and what did I tell you, Will? What did I tell you? I said Auburn was going to try because they were ranked. Oklahoma's ranked. Auburn's going to try. Why, Auburn? If you had this effort against Cal, you win. But you didn't win because you don't care about Cal. Well, you know why? You don't care about Cal because you don't even care about your own program. Nobody cares about Auburn anymore. Like, they're stupid. They're just a dumb program, and it's sad. It's just sad to see. I'm just done with Auburn. I'm sick of Auburn. I'm sick of playing this game of, oh, well, they're going to show up against a good team, and they're going to win, and then against a crap team, they're going to play like garbage. I don't know. Auburn is stupid. They're just a stupid team. They got a terrible coach, obviously, in Hugh Freeze. They obviously can't coach. They got talent, but it don't matter. Peyton Thorne's not good, even though he actually had a good game. But they're just bad. They're just annoyingly bad. They should have won this game. They actually should have won this game, but they didn't win. Yes, I agree with Jason. They can try all they want, but they're just trash. They just annoy me, Will. They annoy me to no end. Because if you can do this against Oklahoma, you could beat Cal. If you could do this against Oklahoma, you could beat New Mexico State last year. It's just stupid. They're just annoying. They're just an annoying team. I hate it. I hate it for Auburn fans. The ones that are left, the ones that haven't jumped off the ship. I don't know. Don't hold back Jeffrey says Troy. I'm telling you how I feel. I'm mad at Auburn. They're annoying. They're just so annoying.
You knew the interception was coming at some point from Peyton Thorne. Like, you knew it was coming. Oh, Jeffrey. Did you hear that?
What did you say?
I said you knew the interception at some point was coming from Peyton Thorne. You knew it was coming at some point.
He's not a great quarterback. He just isn't, man. I mean, that Kenneth Walker year, that's another thing. It's the fact they got that guy, Peyton Thorne, the guy that everybody's like, oh, he's a great quarterback. So look what he did with Michigan State. Kenneth Walker, Jaden Reed, Jalen Naylor. It was not Thorne. It was not Tucker. It was those three guys. Look where they're all at. They're having great fun in the pros, especially Kenneth Walker. Peyton Thorne wasn't it, and neither was Mel Tucker. They just weren't. And I don't know, man. I mean, I agree. Hummus here. I mean, like, can you name a more annoying team than Auburn right now, week to week? It's not like I don't hate Auburn or the program. It's nothing to do with that I'm a Bama fan. It's nothing to do with it. It's just I don't like the fact that you can almost predict how they're going to play every single game. You really can. Against bad teams, they don't care. They lose. And then against good teams, they try and they lose. It's just stupid. I mean, it really is, man. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So,
I honestly miss the Gus Malzahn era. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, even though they beat Alabama a few times, at least Auburn could win.
So, Jeffrey, Notre Dame's quarterback of the 2025 class flipped to Auburn. And I understand flipping from Notre Dame, but why would he go to Auburn? I mean, I guess he's going to start next year. Is that why he went to Auburn? Like, I get leaving Notre Dame. Notre Dame really hasn't had a great quarterback since Jimmy Clausen. But why would he go to Auburn besides the money?
It's all about that money. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, let me ask you a question, Will. We're not football players, So if you had a choice to play at a school that was going to develop you and show you how to play football and all that, but you're going to make a little bit less money than at a garbage program like Auburn, and you're going to start immediately. Would you rather go to that program where you can develop, learn, and get some money, or would you rather go to the school with more money but they're trash?
Develop, learn. I mean, people, I get it for people that come up, they grow up with no money. Like, they're like, okay, we need the money. Like, especially the parents. The parents definitely sometimes have a say. They're like, no, we need the money. But
well, you want to know what happens when you do that, though? You're not going to be making any more money after that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think big picture, Will. Like, and I know you do. Like, I'm just talking about in general. Like, these people. I understand if you're dirt poor. I hate it for people like that. And this is your one shot. I understand that. But the thing is, you go to a good program where they got a track record of developing quarterbacks, and then you go off to the NFL, you're going to make so much more money than that NIL deal. That NIL deal is going to run out eventually. I know you're getting a lot of money these days, but it's still going to run out. So, to me, it would just make more sense if you went to the better school and do that. But maybe I don't know what I would do. I don't know. It's just, to me, I just think it's sad. I really do. I just think it's sad to make such a bad decision like that. I would not do that. But again, I'm not in that situation, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
I mean, like, who is Hugh Freeze developed that's done well in the NFL, man? I mean, Bo Wallace on Twitter has been trashing Hugh Freeze. He hates Hugh Freeze, and he was the only kind of good quarterback that Hugh Freeze had, and apparently he hates Hugh Freeze now. So,
yeah, that doesn't look good at all. It's not a good look.
All right, man. So
I don't know, man. I don't know what else I have to say about all that. It's just I just think it's dumb overall. Like, everything about Auburn right now is just dumb. And that guy made a big mistake going there. But we'll see.
It's not looking good for Dave Aranda, and sorry, Scotty. Like, I don't think you can make a bowl game, my friend.
I'm sorry, Scotty. I hate it for your Baylor Bears. The thing that's so frustrating is, man, I'm just on a streak right now. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's because I'm tired or what, but I'm on a streak. Baylor is frustrating because I love Dave Aranda. Mm-hmm. Dave Aranda was like my guy.
Awesome.
You remember 2 years ago when we first were making videos and content live streams together, and I was on the Dave Aranda bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the Dave Aranda bandwagon. I'm like, he's one of the top 10 coaches in college football. And now this is what we get from Dave Aranda. And the thing is, they were competitive. Mm-hmm. They had a shot to win. I mean, I'm less irritated with Baylor than Auburn because Auburn's been doing this for years, but it's just frustrating with Baylor, dude. Like, they could have won this game. I don't think BYU's a great team. I think they're all right. I think there's something about that night atmosphere against K-State and Avery Johnson just not ready for it, that they got that big win. But I don't think that's, like, indicative of how good they are. I don't. But kudos to, BYU for getting a road win. I mean, it's not like Baylor's an easy place to play or anything, but that's just a tough blow to Dave Aranda. He needed this game. He really did. He really, like PJ Fleck needed the Michigan game. Couldn't get it. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to go from here for Aranda, but he might be toast if they don't make a bowl game, which, like you said, they probably won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, Scott. Good effort from the Bears, but it was too late.
Yep. Oh my gosh, another irritating game. My Lord.
A&M, man, helping Notre Dame's resume.
We picked, though. You picked Arkansas, right? You picked Arkansas?
I think I picked A&M if I had to put money on it, but I'm not totally
sure. I thought we both went with Arkansas. I thought we did. I mean, I know you wanted A&M to win. Every game, Notre Dame, the team that they play, like, you're rooting for them to win, all of them. It's so funny. Like, it's a weekly thing. It's hilarious. But, man, like, Arkansas. All these coaches, man, it's Pittman, Aranda. Seems like the only one that is having a shot of saving his job is Beamer. Beamer might save his job, but Pittman, Aranda, they're not saving their jobs right now. I mean, Arkansas could have won this game. A&M's not great. That's clear.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a great team at all. But the thing is that, they're ranked because they're A&M, and they have a lot of talent, but they're just not great. So Arkansas had a shot. They needed the game. I mean, could they still make a bowl? I really don't know what the rest of their schedule is, but I do think Pittman needs a bowl game, though. I really do, to have a shot to keep his job.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they are better this year, Arkansas.
Yeah, they're better this year, just not enough.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
They have a tough
Jason
schedule.
says A&M is fool's gold. They'll have 3 more losses coming. I agree. They're not great. I really don't think they should be ranked either, but we know why they are. It's just because it's A&M.
We'll see, man, with A&M. I mean, their schedule isn't awful, so.
Yeah, but there you go. Like, their schedule isn't awful. So, like, if they win a lot of games, does it even mean that they're good? No. I mean, I think I like Elko. I think he's going to do all right there, but A&M is that program. It just funnels so much money, and they don't win. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they have all this money. They got all the money in the world. They bought everything that they got, and they don't win. They went more than Auburn, though, right now, so okay.
Boy, Ashton Jeanty, man. I was rooting for the Cougs, but Jeanty was too much.
I will say, I'm just being honest with you, Will, that of all of, like, the players that are not on my favorite teams, Ashton Jeanty is, like, my favorite player in college football. He is insane. Then the thing is, I'm not gonna go out there and say that I was the first to say this guy was a stud. I mean, I'm sure there were other people before me, but a couple years ago, I'm like, I was on The Voice of College Football. I was on other shows, and I was like, watch Boise, watch Ashton Jeanty. This guy is good. He's really, really good. And people just didn't know he really existed because Boise wasn't doing all that good at the end of the Andy Avalos era. So they were kind of floating under the radar. Well, now Boise State, are they back to what they were in the Chris Peterman era? I don't think so. But they're a lot better now. They're a lot better now. And Jeanty is the main reason why. Look at the yards, man. 250 tackles look like missed tackles. Just flat out missed tackle. Like, you got a guy bear hugging this guy, and he just gets out of it. I agree. Like, if you're the Heisman, okay? The Heisman, unfortunately, is a quarterback award, but it shouldn't be a quarterback award. It should go to the football. And he has a case. He just absolutely has a case. Jeanty, I mean, Jeanty makes what Ollie Gordon did last year look bad. All right, that's what Jeanty's doing. Jeanty is legit. He is going to be a stud in the pros as long as he stays healthy. He's a fantastic player. I love Jeanty. And I've known about him for years, and I've enjoyed watching him for years, and he's finally breaking out. He's breaking out onto the scene for real, because Boise State's actually good.
Mm-hmm. All right. The Hoosiers stay unbeaten, even with their turnovers. They still
4 turnovers.
Yeah.
4 turnovers. Indiana turned the ball over way too many times. And the thing is Indiana should have won this game by more. Like, did you see the play? I don't know if you saw it online, Will, but did you see the play where the referee blocked D'Angelo Pons on Indiana's defense?
Oh, yeah.
You saw that play. Literally, Maryland scored a 75-yard touchdown because the referee got in Indiana's defender's way. So that was one of their touchdowns. And then another touchdown Maryland had, on 3rd and 17, the Maryland receiver had half of his backside on the out-of-bounds line, and the referee and the commentator said that the one cheek, they literally said that on air, the one cheek was good. No, it's not. Okay, he was out of bounds. No. Like, I could not believe they counted that, and then they ended up scoring on that drive. So Maryland really only should have had 14 in this game. And Indiana turned it over way too much, but they dominated this game. And actually, Maryland got a garbage touchdown in the fourth, like a minute left, because they were up 42-21 until there was like a minute left in the game. And that's how Maryland got 28. So, honestly, Indiana destroyed them. They did. This score is not indicative of anything. And I'm not saying that to hype up Indiana or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying Indiana is like legitimately a top 10 team or anything, or top 15 team. I don't think so, but they're definitely a top 25 team. This is a good football team. They made a lot of mistakes and still basically blew out. And there was a lot of, ifs, ands, and buts that made Maryland close. It really wasn't a close game at all. But Rourke's good, had a couple mistakes, but he's good. It was actually more of his receivers not running the right routes. So that's something that needs to get fixed for Indiana. The receivers need to run routes a little bit better. Surratt's good, though. Elijah Surratt is a good receiver. He's good. And he will be playing on Sundays. He's a good player. And, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Indiana.
Can you go promote your show, and I'll be back in 30 seconds with Mark's show?
All right. Sounds good, man. I'll do that. Yeah, absolutely. And if Jackson's still in the chat, hopefully he can promote it as well. But actually, it's just been launched on the Voice of College Football, but I am actually making videos for the Voice of College Football on the Indiana channel. I don't know if you guys know about it yet, but the link is now in the chat. The link is now in the chat on Will's channel and mine. I'm making content at Indiana at the Voice of College Football. I would really appreciate if you guys would go subscribe to the channel because of the fact that it's going to be a lot of fun talking about Indiana as the season goes along. They're having an historic season. 5-0 for the first time since 1967. It's absolutely unreal. It's been a lot of fun talking about the Hoosiers so far this year, and hopefully Curt Cignetti can keep it rolling. I'm really, really enjoying what I'm seeing from the Hoosiers because most of the time it's just absolutely dreadful football. Like, you just don't see anything good from the Hoosiers. They're always bad, but now they got a team it's worth talking about, and we're talking about it at Indiana at the Voice of College Football. That is insane. It's absolutely crazy that Indiana's got a channel on the Voice of College Football, but it does right now, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and definitely would appreciate if you guys would check it out.
Nebraska and Purdue, man. I'm like, oh man, this is making Notre Dame look good. Nebraska hasn't scored against Purdue, and Notre Dame put up like so much, but then Nebraska did end up beating Purdue 28-10. But Nebraska, they ain't quite there yet, but they are better, I guess, than they were.
Keep Chopping says one of the last time IU was 6-0. It was the 1967 season as well.
Oh.
In 2020, they went 4-0, but then they lost to Ohio State. It was the shortened season. So, yeah, they went 6-1 that year, but they were 4-0, then they lost to Ohio State. But, yeah, they were 6-0 in 67, same as they were 5-0 in 67. So, yeah. And then Jason says, you did a great job on your first show. Appreciate that, Jason. But not sure how much Indiana content I could tolerate, but I'll try to tune in next time. I appreciate it, Jason. Every week, Tuesdays at 7. Indiana Live at the Voice of College Football. Definitely appreciate it. I'll try to talk about some other teams on there too for a little. Maybe I have a segment where I talk about some other stuff, so it won't get too just Indiana-fied, but I appreciate it, Jason. But yes, this game, man, Nebraska. I was like, they're bad, man. I was like, Nebraska is bad. Turned it on in the fourth quarter. I'm like, okay. They did their job. They won comfortably, but at the end. But Purdue's terrible. Purdue is bad, and they just fired their offensive coordinator. They're horrible. So I hope this is your Indiana beats Purdue. Indiana hasn't beat Purdue in football in 5 years. So, yeah, they need to beat Purdue this year. Purdue's terrible. And Nebraska, I don't think they're great. I think that Nebraska-Indiana game is going to be such a barometer game. Huge game. I'm looking forward to that one, absolutely. But Nebraska, they're better this year, and they should make a bowl game. But they're just not that great still. But Matt Rule's getting them there. It's slowly building.
Mm-hmm. Buffalo, man, what happened to Buffalo? They pulled off the huge upset of the Northern Illinois, and then
dude, it's just looking worse and worse for Notre Dame with Northern Illinois, and then Buffalo, and then UConn. Look at this, 47-3. UConn beat Buffalo 47-3, and Buffalo beat Northern Illinois. He beat Notre Dame. It just looks so dumb. That's college football for you. That is college football for you right there. And that is why, Will, the transitive property garbage doesn't mean anything. People say, oh, the transitive property. The transitive property. If this team beat this team that beat that team, then the team all the way down here is better than that top. No, it doesn't. That's just stupid. That's just a joke. That's just people being funny. Because obviously Notre Dame's better than UConn and Buffalo and Northern Illinois. They're better than all those teams. They just lost to Northern Illinois because they play like garbage in that game. But yeah, I mean, it's just dumb. How in the world does UConn win by that much? I have no idea. But congratulations for UConn because it looks like they are having a bit of a bounce back year. So.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Shout out to UConn and Boston College, man. Without they definitely missed Castellanos in this game, but they still won.
I will say I'll give him a pass, especially because Jason's here. I'll give him a pass because of the fact they didn't have Castellanos. But my Lord, they should have lost this game. What was Western Kentucky doing in the fourth quarter? I will never know, but they had the game. BC was toast. But they won. Bill O'Brien keeping the good vibes going, but they need Castellanos back and quick.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Oh, it's so close. So close.
Hey, man, I told you to go NC State, man. Northern Illinois, just no, not good. Not good. That was all on Notre Dame.
Stupid scoop and score, man.
Yeah.
Hampton didn't play well either, man. Brown had a good game, but yeah.
I mean, Northern Illinois is not an awful team, but they're not good either. Still, it shouldn't even have been close to beat Notre Dame. But yeah, NC State's not a great team either. But they needed this win if they're gonna have a shot to make a bowl. They were really struggling.
Syracuse took care of Holy Cross.
Nah, that's not a surprise at all.
Navy.
Who's been more impressive to you, Navy or Army? Would you say Navy because
they're passing?
Yes, I would agree. It is impressive that they're both 4-0. I mean, I forgot the stat, but they said it's the first time they're both 4-0 in a long time. I don't remember what year it was. Do you remember what they said on that? I can't remember.
No clue.
I can't. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So it's very cool for the armed forces.
Thanks, Troy.
Yeah, I was about to say, I read that first line, and I read that the first time, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, wait, he's digging Notre Dame, man. Okay. Falls apart when it plays good teams. So you're trying to tell me Buffalo's a good team and Notre Dame's not. Okay. That's funny.
Jason, people are buying the Grayson McCall stock.
Okay, since 1945, I think.
That makes sense.
That probably is correct.
I was going to guess 40s.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's back when the Notre Dame and Army games were very competitive.
Yeah, because Army was good.
Yeah, that was when all of Notre Dame's players were in Oh no, that was after Rockne died. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Rockne was the 30s and 20s.
Oh no, that's when Leahy was in the Army. Okay, that's when Leahy was in the Army. Okay, that makes sense.
That's so long ago, man. I mean, that's like 80 years ago. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I was really wrong about this game. This is I picked South Florida.
I got a lot of games right this week.
Yeah.
Got a good week. Tulane. I picked Tulane. And I wasn't expecting this. I mean, I will give you credit, Will, that I actually I thought about picking South Florida. Because, I mean, they've done well sort of against good opponents. But, man, I don't know. I'm like Tulane's going to win. But I was not expected to be like this. I mean, they got destroyed. I mean, Tulane beat South Florida by more than Alabama did, which is just dumb. Okay. Okay.
Is Tulane better than Florida?
Oh, wait, you're saying Tulane's better than Florida State?
No, I was just joking. I was saying, is Tulane better than Alabama? And I was like, no.
Okay, well, okay. I was about to say, like, what? No, Jay, no. See, Bama beat Georgia. that automatically is null and void. Like, no. Oh my goodness. That is so funny.
All right. James Madison poured it on Ball State.
And they still scored less than they did against North Carolina.
Yeah. Sam
boy.
Houston beat Texas State. That's a surprise.
Yeah. I'm shocked at that one too. I don't even think we picked this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have probably picked Texas State. So crazy.
I
Weird
follow a lot
score,
of
too.
I follow a lot of UMass people because of A10, and man, they were mad they blew this game.
Well, both these teams aren't good, so you
Yeah.
know, I mean, you know, it's tough to lose in overtime, though.
Mm-hmm. Wake, not good.
Yeah, Wake Forest is bad. I mean, unfortunately, there's no more magic for Clawson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's rough.
I mean, he had Newman and Hartman; they were good.
Yes,
but...
it all ended when Hartman left.
Mm-hmm.
All ended. I mean, they had good players. Remember A.T. Perry as well. A.T. Perry was a good receiver. Like, they had some guys, you know, but now they're just bad.
Mm-hmm. TCU beat Kansas. I don't remember who I picked.
You picked Kansas, and I picked TCU.
I did.
I'm telling you, man, Daniels is dead.
Yeah.
The Jalen Daniels magic is gone. Kansas is bad. They're bad, like legit. And the thing is, most of it's Grimes. It's not a lot of it's not even Daniels.
He's trying.
Hartman went on to bigger and better. Oh wait, dude, I'm telling you right now, and you know this is the truth. If Sam Hartman had to declare for the draft after the last year that he was at Wake, instead of transferring to Notre Dame, he'd have gotten drafted.
He's third string for the Commanders.
He would have gotten drafted, though. Mm-hmm. He did not do good at Notre Dame. He did terrible at Notre Dame. I know the gimmicky offense. I know, like, Mark's talked about the gimmicky offense and, like, all that. But still, Hartman would have gotten drafted if he had gone pro after the last Wake season. But he didn't. It is what it is, though. I mean,
it's going to be so funny if I ever run into Hartman. But the Commanders practice kind of far from where I live, so I probably won't. But
yeah, that'd be crazy, though. But, yeah, I mean, Kansas, they need to get rid of Jeff Grimes. Yeah, Leipold's good though. I think he's good, and
Hartman still. I mean, Hartman got a lot of money through NIL through Notre Dame, so
that's why anybody leaves, you know, to a bigger school. Like he should have.
I don't think he probably would have made as much through the draft that he made at Notre Dame. So
yeah. It is what it is. I mean, I understand. I understand why he did with NIL, but I mean, Notre Dame did nothing for him though, at all. Sadly, I mean, he was garbage at Notre Dame. Yeah. I mean, he got basically benched at the end of the season. I mean, it was just disastrous. So, but again, back to Jason's point though. I mean, Leipold's done good at Kansas. It's just now he's got a bad OC. Same with Tom Allen. He had Kalen DeBoer and Penix, and they were winning, and then it went to garbage. That, like, see, this is what people don't understand with Cignetti. Like, Cignetti's doing great, but he's also got great coordinators. It's the same guys from James Madison. What if those guys take bigger jobs? They need to get dicey if he hires a bad OC, bad defensive coordinator. Your coordinators matter too, man. It's not just the coach, not just the players. You need good coordinators. And Kansas is a bad OC.
UNLV really didn't miss their quarterback.
Oh, no, they didn't. And Sluka, man, that was a bad decision by Sluka.
I look at Sluka's stats. He's not good.
Like, the only reason Sluka was good was because he could run the ball. Yeah. He ran for over like 100 yards a game. His passing stats weren't great. He had a terrible completion percentage. Well, it looks like they're going to be just fine with Hajj Malik Williams. And they're also ranked for the first time ever, right?
Were they not ranked with Randall Cunningham? Maybe not.
I don't know. I think I saw that it's either been a very long time or ever. It's been a long time though.
Kent State, man, got blown out by Eastern Michigan. Carolina Duke. I'm sorry, Jeff.
They were up 20-0, Will. 20-0. I was like, Mac Brown, he got the defense to play hard. They're defending. They didn't score a point at half. I was like, this is North Carolina football. $20-0. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, if you had told me, Will, if you had told me that North Carolina was going to give up 21 points in this game, who won? I've said North Carolina would have won. They only gave up 21. And yeah, it was all in the second half. They did way better in the first. What Matt Brown obviously told him all week, it worked. Something worked because they played defense. Didn't as well in the second half, but they still only gave up 21. But you can't score nothing but 3 points in the second half. Are you freaking kidding me, North Carolina? I'm mad at North Carolina. They're bad. They're just annoying. Come on. Like, you should have won this game.
Are they as annoying as Auburn?
No. I don't know if anybody can be as annoying as Auburn. I really don't. Like, Auburn is on my garbage list right now. They're the number one. Like, Carolina's up there, but I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just sad. They should have won this game. Troy V asked, do you think Cignetti says the Corpus Bowl's the bigger school when he becomes the next hot commodity head coach? I hope he doesn't. But look at Leopold, though. He didn't go to a bigger school, and now it might be backfiring. So for Cignetti, I say that he needs to stay, but sometimes when the iron strikes hot, maybe he should go to a bigger school. But I hope he doesn't, though. I hope, dude, if Cignetti went to Carolina, I'd be happy for Carolina, but man, come on. Indiana got one good thing going. Can we just let Indiana have their thing? Can we do that? Indiana's got their thing right now. Let's not. We don't want to lose Cignetti yet. Maybe after 5 years, but not right now. No. Mm-hmm. And I agree. You had this comment pulled up, Will, for a sec. Sorry to take it off, but yeah, slow burn. Yeah, just a slow burn for Carolina. Just sad. I'm sad.
Oh man, Jeffrey. All right. ECU got off the schneid.
Okay, good. See, that's a way to make me feel better after North Carolina. East Carolina, look at that, 3-2, and they're in some bowl projections. Look at that. East Carolina having a resurging year, so that's good.
UCF blew it.
I will say Jackson's theory is legit. You know Jackson's theory about when nobody thinks UCF or like no one's paying attention to them or whatever. You know, they win, they sneak up on you, but then when they're favored and they're expected to win, then they're garbage. Hey, he's got a point. Remember UCF last year beat Oklahoma State 55-3 as a big underdog. UCF, did you remember how much they were favored by in this game?
It was a chunk, right?
14. UCF was favored by 14, and they lost by 27. So again, Jackson, he makes a lot of statements about college football teams, and he's right on a lot of them, on most of them even. But this is the one he's right about the most. He's completely nailed UCF. Don't pick him as a favorite. Do not pick him as a favorite. And maybe Colorado. Maybe they're okay. Okay. Maybe they're okay. I'm still not saying they're good, though. But maybe they're okay. Good for Austin.
Old Dominion got off the schneid.
Keep in mind, Bowling Green almost beat Penn State.
Florida State.
Dude, I'm so glad we picked SMU, man. I'm telling you. Oh, my goodness. They're so trash. I'm sorry, Jason. Florida State. Sorry, Jason. They're horrible. I'm not even angry about it, though, like Auburn. This is just sad. Like, the thing is with Auburn is they're annoyingly bad, whereas Florida State's just bad. Like, they're horrible. He says, okay, skip this one. Hey, SMU, they might not have the best home environment in the world, but it didn't matter. I mean, they bludgeoned Florida State. That's all I can say.
Texas Tech beat Cincy in the shootout.
Yeah, this was the one swing game I got wrong. Didn't I pick Cincinnati? I've picked Cincinnati a couple times in games they lost. I mean, Sorsby had a big game. It's not like they were horrible. It's just they couldn't defend anybody. Either team could. So
We love some fun game, New Mexico State.
hey, a little rivalry game. New Mexico, Mendenhall, first win.
Mm-hmm.
First win for Mendenhall. He's got a lot of work to do. Can you still honestly believe he took that job?
Tough job, man.
That's just a weird job to take. After being at Virginia, where he was just consistently decent, and then going to New Mexico, it's like, well, why? I don't know. Hey, did you see Wyoming won too? Beat Air Force. Wyoming. Hey, they got the first win. Yeah, Keith Choppy says the FSU stuff was funny for a week or two. Now I feel bad. I agree.
We have some Friday games, Jeffrey.
Yeah, we got some Friday games, but there's really only one of them that I'm interested in. I mean, Houston should get blown out, right? They should get blown out. And then Michigan State, Oregon, maybe. Michigan State. If this was like week 2, week 3 after the way Oregon had been playing at first, maybe. I don't think Michigan State's a terrible team. I just think Childs is way too turnover prone. I mean, that guy cannot stop turning the ball over to save his life. And it's in Autzen, and it's going to be at night.
Remember that fun home and home they had in 14 and 15? Those were good games.
Yeah, true. I hope this game's as good as those. But, yeah, I just think that Oregon should comfortably win. You think they'll cover? Probably not. I would say maybe not. I'll go like 21-point win. I think Michigan State might slightly backdoor cover, but we'll see.
Syracuse, UConn.
Oh boy, UNLV, man, 25th.
I mean, UNLV. I'm tired. I'm getting tired now too. Gosh darn it. Okay.
Sorry. We'll try. I've been having fun.
Sorry,
I'm ripping teams, man. I don't know. I try not to rip teams too hard, but it's just funny with some of them like Auburn. But man, like this game is interesting. I actually am looking forward to this game because Syracuse, they're not a bad team. They're not good, but they're not bad. McCord can play. He can play. And it's funny to me how Ohio State fans are like, oh, well, McCord's turning it over more than Will Howard. Well, I wonder why. He's on an inferior team. Like, Will Howard will be turning it over more at Syracuse as well. So that's not really fair. And Jason knows that Syracuse might regret scheduling at UNLV. Agreed. Absolutely. They were not expecting UNLV to be good. Barry Odom's done good. They were trash years ago when Syracuse scheduled this game. So, yeah, didn't expect that from them. UNLV's favored by 6.5. Them being ranked might let that get to their head, but I don't think it will. I think UNLV wins 27-24.
Will UNLV blow it? I think McCord will have a good game. You said 27-24, Q's?
27-24 UNLV, yeah.
I'll give them an extra field goal. I'll go 30-24 UNLV. I could see Q's winning, but
I thought you were gonna go with Syracuse. I thought you were. When you pause, Will, that's when you pick the other team. Thought you were gonna do it.
Nah, I'm not gonna pull it.
Yeah, I thought about it too. I did because I think McCord's done well, but I don't know. I'm just going UNLV. And we got Dave Valensky with the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate it, Dave. Says, went to Central Michigan, my dad's alma mater. Beat San Diego State the last second field. San Diego State carrier missed 2 chip shot field goals. Fire up chips. That's absolutely a cool story. You got to love it. You got to love college football. You can have memories for life. No matter how long ago they were, you'll never forget some of these games. I mean, like, I can't believe, like, as long as I've been on this earth now, like, I'm remembering games from, like, 15 years ago, 16 years, like, just a little kid. You just never forget these games. They're always in your mind forever. You don't need highlights. You saw it happen, right? It's even better when you go to, like, a school and you can see the game in person. That's even better. But I appreciate Dave. Thanks for the story and thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Always love seeing you in chat. Absolutely appreciate it.
All right. What do you think? We can talk about this Virginia Tech Stanford game for a second.
Yeah, this game deserves to be talked about. Absolutely. You know why? Because of the fact that this is the last chance Virginia Tech has to not completely trash their season. And this is a weird little game. It's just a weird little game because I still can't wrap my mind around the fact Stanford's in the ACC. It's just so insane. It's wrong. It's just so wrong. And Virginia Tech is desperate for a win. They're the better team. Kyron Drones has not been great.
He played pretty well in the Miami game.
He did play well in that game, but overall his season's not been that great. I mean, in 5 games, he still hasn't even eclipsed 1,000 yards. He only has 6 touchdowns. Not great. Barely averaging over a touchdown a game. The key for Virginia Tech is can the running back, Tutton, is that how you pronounce it? Is his last name Tutton? Tootin? I don't know how to
Tootin,
I don't know how to say it. All right. Well, their running back, I'll just say Virginia Tech's running back. Their running back, who is good, and his last name is interesting, if he can run on Stanford consistently, they will win this game. And as long as Drones doesn't have to throw too much. But if he can't run the ball for over 100 and something yards, then they won't win. I think Stanford's crowd's going to be trash because it always is. So I think Virginia Tech will win. Even though they got to travel far, I'm going to go with Virginia Tech to win 24-20.
I'll go 27-20 Hokies. I think they'll do enough. But that Io Manor, that receiver, can make play for Stanford.
He's good.
Yeah.
Man, if he was on a better team, he'd get more attention.
He'll be in the NFL. Yeah.
He will be.
Yeah. Missouri A&M. This is an interesting game.
This game, man, this is one of those games that I'm going to be having my eye on. It's the game I'm going to be paying attention to almost the most out of all the games this week. Because look at this game. A&M favored by 2.5. It's one of those spreads, right? Like, it's at A&M. They're favored by almost the home field, but it's not by 3. It's by 2.5. So they're giving you a little bit of that Missouri. Missouri hasn't looked all that good.
This is a toss-up, man.
Missouri hasn't looked all that good. Barely beat Vanderbilt. Like, they're not playing all that good. But I don't think A&M's all that good. But it's at A&M. I love this game. And I don't know who to pick. I don't know. Oh, boy, man. This game. This is the game right here. This is like one of those just wacky, weird games.
This should be a night game.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, if it wasn't night, that would aid A&M, though.
Yeah.
It would aid A&M. So it helps Missouri that this game is during the day. I don't know, man. I got to let you pick first. I honestly, I don't know.
You know who I'm picking. I'm picking A&M, man. I'm picking A&M. 31-24. I think they'll get a late touchdown from Moss.
Are you doing it because of the fact that you think?
Hey, it's a toss-up. I don't know who to pick, so I'm going with my heart.
Because of the fact, like, or they lost to Notre Dame, rather, and Notre Dame beat them. And yeah, and like for the strength of schedule. I'm just making sure, like, this isn't biased.
It's a 50-50, so I'm going with who I actually want to win. Yeah.
See, well, that's kind of biased, though. Like, 50-50, but you got stakes here. Like, that's not fair. Oh, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't think Missouri's look good. They just haven't. They just haven't, man. Give me Texas A&M 28-24. I'm so mad if Missouri wins. If Missouri wins this game, put A&M on the Auburn list of annoying teams. Just put them on the list. But I'm going A&M. I think the home crowd might be enough. It might.
Now here's another game that Notre Dame needs to go well. SMU at Louisville.
This is a good game. This is a good game right here, man. Because, I mean, Louisville's a better team, but SMU just – I mean, I know Florida State's bad. I know sorry with Jason, but I know Florida State's bad. But come on, man. SMU destroyed them. And what will Louisville do? What angle do you think is going to happen here, Will? Do you think Louisville's going to be sulking still that they lost?
I'm worried about that a bit, Jeffrey. I'm
Notre
not
Dame,
gonna
or do
lie.
you think that they'll come back angry?
If this was at SMU, I think SMU would win. But if it's at home, their home crowd, they have a decent home crowd there. It's not Stanford. So I think they can. I don't know. 7 seems like too much. I'm gonna be completely honest. 7 is too high.
I agree. It makes more sense if it was like 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I want to go with Louisville for Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is not an easy game. SMU, I mean, after the Nevada game, I would have thought SMU was pretty bad, but they've gotten a lot better since then.
Mm-hmm. I'm shocked
I'll go with Louisville 27-24.
I'll go with Shug, man. I mean, Shug showed me a little. He was better than I thought he would be against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be complete. I mean, this is not biased. He only threw like 11 touchdowns and 1 pick, and that 1 pick was Xavier Watts, who might be. I mean, maybe he's not the best safety in the country, but he's up there, man.
Yeah, he's good.
And so throwing it to him isn't that bad. So I think Shug will do enough. I'll go 31-27 Louisville.
Yeah, I really, really was swinging with SMU for a second. I thought about picking them, but you're right. Louisville's a tough environment. It is good. And Louisville's a better team. It's the sulk factor. As long as they don't sulk and as long as they're not upset still about that Notre Dame loss, they'll win. But I'm not sure. But I'm going to go Louisville.
Will Fickell be on the hot seat if they lose this game to Purdue?
Yes, absolutely. dude, if Wisconsin loses this game, I mean, he might be gone. I mean, come at Camp Randall. There's no excuses for losing this game. Absolutely none. I don't care how bad their QB is. Like, the thing is, I could see it, though. I could see it. It wouldn't shock me at all. Purdue's going to cover. I think Purdue will cover. I think Wisconsin wins.
All right. What was your score?
24-14.
Okay. I'll go 17-3 Purdue. I mean, Wisconsin. Sorry. Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Not
like,
Purdue.
What an upset. Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like Purdue's going to cover. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I just don't. Mm-hmm. But I think Wisconsin wins.
All right, you can't lose to UMass. You can't.
Dude, if Northern Illinois lost to UMass, oh my gosh. They're not going to, but if they did. Yeah. Really, though, they're going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. It would just make the saga even funnier.
Now, will Castellanos be back? I'm assuming that Virginia -1 means that he won't be back.
This is a tough game to pick because, like you said, if Castellanos is playing, I would go with Boston College. But let me see. I'm going to try to look it up real quick.
I'm looking it up, too.
Yeah, because, I mean, that matters, dude.
I have an SI article on it.
Gives update. It's so important. I mean, he is really good.
He says he's ready.
But the thing is, remember that article we read or I showed you last week where they said that Cam Rising was going to be available? That didn't pan out either. But I think it's more probably likely that Castellanos would actually be ready.
I mean, it says here that he can play, no doubt about it. So,
yeah, okay, well that's fine. I'll go BC 27-21.
Yeah, I'll go 30-27 BC.
Yeah, they'll win if he's playing. They'll win, but if he's not playing, they'll lose.
Mm-hmm. Pick Carolina. Can Carolina get off the schneid against Pitt?
Do you honestly think I'm picking North Carolina after that?
No.
Do you think that after James Madison, I gave him another chance. I said North Carolina always beats Duke. They take care of business in that game. I'm going had me reeled in, Will. I'm like, they're doing it. 20-0. No, I'm done. I'm sorry. I still love you, North Carolina, but I'm picking Pitt. I don't trust Pitt either. I really don't trust Pitt, and normally they're better at home, but they've looked like the better team. Holstein's been good, so I'm going Pittsburgh 31-24.
I'll go Pitt 34-17. I think Carolina's. I don't know, man. They've been bad. They've been bad.
They've been bad, and I hate to see it. I don't like saying it. It hurts to the core, but they're bad. And I'm not. You can't keep fooling me, man. You can't keep fooling me.
Will they make a bowl prediction? Will they make a bowl?
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Who they got left on their schedule? Honestly, can't
all right.
remember.
I'll pull up the schedule.
Because I mean, a loss here will put them at 3-3. Okay. Oof. Well, I'd say, you could beat Virginia, but they lost to them last year. I'd say you could beat Georgia Tech, but they lost to them last year. Florida State's bad, but it's at Florida State. Wake Forest is bad. BC is on the road, so probably not. NC State's not good. Yeah, they could still make a bowl game, but they probably won't.
Yeah.
You know what? They'll probably find a way to go 6-6. That's just the North Carolina thing to do. You know what I'm saying? They'll probably try to go 6-6. 5-7 or 6-6. Because I mean, dude, those are bad teams, man. Virginia's bad. Wake's bad. NC State and Florida State are bad. They're horrible. I mean, if North Carolina was in the SEC, they wouldn't even win 4 games. They wouldn't. They wouldn't even win probably 3 games. So they're lucky they're in the ACC. They really are. But yeah, I don't know, man. They could make a bowl game, but I think they're still projected to make one, honestly. But
this is a toilet bowl of a game. I mean, NC State will win, but
NC State 24-14. Wake's terrible.
Right.
Wake is bad. I can't believe how bad Wake is. They're terrible.
Navy should be Air Force.
Yeah, I mean, it is a rivalry game, so you never know with it being the Armed Forces. Air Force is bad, though. That's the problem. Like, Air Force just lost to Wyoming. But I do think Air Force will try because, again, it's a rivalry game between the Armed Forces. But I'll go with Navy, too. Yeah. I'll go with Army as well. Keep it rolling. And Tulane.
Iowa, Ohio State.
Do you think this game will be close?
I think it'll be competitive in the first half, and then Ohio will pull away.
Yeah, that's what's probably going to happen. Like, Iowa, I mean, it might be like 10-7, like midway in the second quarter or something like that, or, whatever. And then, I'll go with Ohio State to win.
I'll go 38-20. I'll have Iowa cover.
I'll go with 35-14.
I might hit the over because of how good Iowa's run game's been.
35-14 would hit the over as well.
Yeah.
And I would also have Ohio State covering for me. Jason says Ohio State 38-3. Dave Valensky says Wake NC State's the best the ACC has to offer. Laughing out loud. Yeah, not a good game. That's why they threw it on the CW, though. Steven says 40-17. So he's agreeing with you that more offense and then for Iowa, and 42-10 from Hummus. Yeah, I mean, all his predictions sound about right. I could see it anywhere between like Iowa getting 10 points, 14, or 17. Somewhere in there.
Now, this would be the most Auburn thing if they won this game.
This would be the most Auburn thing of all time, Will. And you want to know what it would? You honestly, and see, this is what kills me about college football fans. If Auburn won this game, oh my gosh, this is the most surprising win of the season. I can't believe it. For us, Will, not a shot. This wouldn't surprise me one bit because this is Auburn. And when they're playing a ranked team, and especially a rival, and I know people be like, well, it's in Athens. You remember the last time Auburn went to Athens? They almost beat them. So, no. No, it would not shock me at all. But I ain't doing it. I'm not picking them. You know what? I'll pick Georgia to win 27-17. I think Auburn keeps it close. I think they try, but they're not winning this game. And if they do win this game, I'm going to be just so livid at Auburn because, like you said, it is the Auburn thing to do. This would be their win. And it would blow Georgia's season. Jason's saying Georgia's going to blow them out. I don't think so. They could. But Auburn always keeps it close with Georgia.
I'll go 31-14. I think it'll be close first half.
I would be more surprised with Iowa beating Ohio State than Auburn beating Georgia.
Yeah.
That's how not surprised I am if Auburn won. It would not shock me. They do this junk. Iowa beating Ohio State would be a shock. I know Iowa beat them before, but that was a long time ago.
That was 17?
Yeah, it was
Or was
Stanley.
it 18?
Stanley. Purdue beat him in 2018, so it's 2017.
Okay, then it's 17.
Yeah. Yep. The back-to-back big upsets with Urban Meyer.
This is a sneaky. Could they lose some?
This is a good game. The thing is, though, do you think Ole Miss bounces back angry, hungry after what they did, losing to Kentucky? Because, I mean, they're still a good offensive team, man. I mean, Harris is great. Parrish is not Judkins, but he's good. The thing is can South Carolina's atmosphere and the fact that Beamer does have the Gamecocks playing better football, can that rejuvenate itself into a win here? I don't know. I think this is a toss-up game, honestly. I do. What's the spread? Because I can't see it with the banner.
9.
It's 9. Okay. So that sounds about right. I don't know. I could see. I'm close. I almost would pick South Carolina, but the thing is, Ole Miss coming off a loss, though. Lane Kiffin normally doesn't lose 2 in a row. I'll go Ole Miss 31-28.
I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna go 31 to. I'll go 31-27. Carolina.
Yeah, very close to Jason's score of 28-24 South Carolina. Hey, I can see it. I almost pulled it.
Mm-hmm.
If Ole Miss loses, though, again, they're not going in the Auburn, category again of annoying. I won't be at that point with Ole Miss, but I will be disappointed in Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. I'll be very disappointed in Ole Miss, and I'll be thinking again on whether I pick them next time against a quality opponent or a decent enough opponent. I think they'll win. I think they're the significantly better team, but South Carolina could win. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a good game.
IU Northwestern.
Look at that spread, man. 14. Indiana favored by 14 on the road in the Big Ten. I don't care how bad Northwestern is.
On the road. Yeah, on the road, right? Like small little lacrosse stadium or some junk. Ryan Field is gone, and Northwestern has no stadium. And the thing is, you know all about this. Indiana's got a lot of alumni in Chicago. There will be people buying tickets for this game, probably. There will probably be some Indiana fans there. So, am I worried about this game? Yeah, I'm worried about this game slightly. Not a lot, but just slightly, because it still just feels too good to be true for Indiana. It really does, because they always lose. You know what I'm saying? So, Jason says on the road, Northwestern plays their games in the church parking lot. Steven says Indiana 38-21 over Northwestern. The key for this game, and I said it on my live stream at Indiana, the voice of college football. Again, if you guys like to go check that out, I would really appreciate it. But I said that Northwestern's offense is the key, because if they can't score in this game, they're not going to win. Indiana's offense will eventually find their way to score. That's the thing. Northwestern's got a good defense. Indiana cannot overlook that. They got to play crisp on offense, but Northwestern's offense is really bad. I think Indiana wins 28-14. 31-3 IU.
I hope it's 34-3. That'd be good. I just feel like Northwestern's offense is just not good enough to win this game. Yeah, and I hope Indiana's looking at it either, Dave. Absolutely. I just don't think Cignetti would let him do that. And they got a bye next week, so just they don't need to even be thinking about that Nebraska game.
Rutgers, Nebraska.
This is another one of those games, dude. Just sneaky little game, right? Like you got Nebraska favored by a touchdown, and I see a lot of people backing the Scarlet Knights here because Nebraska looked like garbage against Purdue. I will say the one problem, the one major problem with Rutgers is that, yeah, they're undefeated, but they barely beat Washington. And like you said, Washington technically should have won, right? If this game was at Rutgers, would you go Rutgers?
Yeah.
Probably me too, but man, it's at Nebraska, man, and I still don't trust Nebraska. I still feel like the Scott Frost is in them. I do. I don't think they've gotten it completely out of him yet, but Rayola, that home crowd, I'm picking Nebraska 24-17.
I'm close. The ghost of Scott Frost, man. The ghost of Scott Frost.
The ghost of Scott Frost lives on, man. It still lives on. It's alive and well in Lincoln. Can they burn it out of them with a game like this?
31-21 Nebraska. They'll win. It'll be 2-score. If it was, I'll have to go Nebraska by 2. I can't go by 1. I'll say Rayola.
Yeah.
Does not. They win by 2.
Keep
I'm sorry,
chopping,
keep chopping. Good luck, though, keep chopping. I would be happy for you, but
I'll be happy for you too. Absolutely.
If they didn't have Rayola, I would definitely pick Rutgers.
Rayola is the best player on the field, probably most talented, and then it's Monangai. Obviously Rayola hasn't hit his peak yet. You know, I know he's a freshman, but still, like, he's very talented. Just Nebraska's a better team, though. It's just if it's a close game, though, like, I agree with keep chopping. If it's a close game, that benefits Rutgers. Like, Nebraska needs to pull away, get some distance, because Nebraska still just doesn't do all that good in close games. They still choke. But if Nebraska can get ahead by a decent amount, like at least by 10 or 14, they'll win.
Another one of these Big 12 games, man.
Man, I mean, come on. If this game was at West Virginia, no brainer. No brainer. Country roads, take me home, all that kind of stuff. No problem. Problem is at Oklahoma State. And the thing is with Gundy, and you know this very well about Gundy. When Oklahoma State has a garbage game and they fall off the map, he usually gets them back. You know what I'm saying? Like, Oklahoma State usually ends up finding a way to get back, like in the top 25 and in the thick of things by the end of the season. I just have a hard time seeing them being 0-3 in the Big 12.
They only gave them home field, though.
Ollie Gordon has to do something.
I don't think Ollie Gordon's himself, man. I think they've used him too much.
So you think he'll never like hit peak again?
Yeah.
After what he did last year, like he's forever scarred. He's broken.
Well,
that's unfortunate. I mean, if that's the case with him, then I mean that sucks for him because I mean, like the pros aren't even going to want him. Which I mean, he was great last year. I don't know, man. Call me crazy, but I've picked against Oklahoma State recently, but I think they're going to win, dude. I'm going to go 28-24. I just think with them being at home, I don't know. I just Gundy always finds a way to not have them being complete trash. Neil Brown West Virginia just isn't that good either. I'll go with Oklahoma State. I could be wrong though.
Yeah. Joey's still in my head, man. I'm going to go 28-27 WVU. Last time. If WVU loses, I won't pick them again as an underdog.
All right. I understand. I mean, I almost did it for Joey too, but I don't know, man. Gundy's not going to have Oklahoma State be completely bad. I just feel like they're going to find a way to win. Yeah, and Jim R., appreciate you for stopping by. Oklahoma State, another annoying team in my opinion. True. They kind of are. True. That's true. But still think they're going to win this game. I don't know. Bama big, Bama by a truckload over Vanderbilt. Like I don't think, even though like coming off a big win, like I think they should be fine. I think they win by at least 24.
Clemson, Florida State.
Do you think Florida State like kind of pulls an Auburn and tries because it's a ranked team and it's at home, or do you think they just
thinking so too?
You think it's gonna be close?
I think they'll definitely try, and then they might give up.
DJU stats, man.
Woo-wee. This guy stinks.
Dude, it's so funny, man, when I read articles about Florida State and like the reporter, the articles are still like DJU is hurting his draft stock. God doesn't have draft stock. What are you talking about? He's hurting his draft stock. He has none. He's not on the board. And if you have him on the board, you're insane. Okay? You're nuts. He's not on the board. If Sam Hartman didn't get drafted, DJU's not getting drafted, okay? He's not. He's not getting drafted. So I don't even want to hear about draft stock. The guy's draft stock is toast. He doesn't have any. Yeah, I think Florida State, weirdly enough, will cover. I don't know. I think they'll keep it close because they're just going to be dumb like Auburn. But Clemson's going to win 31-20.
Oh, wait, what was your prediction?
31-20 Clemson.
I'll go 42-21.
All right.
Tim, we're going to get to it.
Oh, my gosh. You guys talk about USC Miss. I have a bedtime. We're almost there. We're sorry, Tim. I mean, it's late. It's really late. But I do appreciate all you guys for still being in chat. It's been a great stream tonight. Absolutely.
All right, Tennessee, Arkansas. We'll be quick.
Weirdly enough, this game's at Arkansas. I have a sneaking suspicion that yet again, they're gonna try. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try, but I just think Tennessee's too good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Nico went at Oklahoma and won. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll do it again. I'm gonna go 31-17.
You said 31-17?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go 38-10.
Okay. Yeah. Trojan Blaze. Someone needs to tuck Tim in and read him a bedtime story. And Tim says in a glass.
We're both tired too, but
I'm exhausted, man. Like, yeah. I mean, we had to barely like fit this show in. Had some complications yesterday. So that like there's a lot of stuff going on in college bar now and all that jump. But we got the show in. This is an interesting little game here. This is an interesting little game. Michigan at Washington. You know, what do you think?
Look at this spread. Look at this spread, man.
Washington is favored. I was about to say, do you think Washington's got a chance? They're favored. Yeah, they got a chance. According to the betting odds. Oh, my goodness. I did not see that spread. Oh, my Lord. Washington is favored to win. Oh my goodness, man. Well, Will Rogers has been good.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Cherry says Washington 100.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Stephen, I don't think that's a realistic score. I don't know. Washington's decent. I mean, they're decent. They're just not, obviously, I mean, compared to last year, they're horrible. But Will Rogers, good quarterback. Fish is a solid coach. They just don't have nowhere near as much as they had last year. Can Washington stop Michigan's run game? And
I think Washington needs it to be a shootout.
Score on Michigan's defense?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Do you think Michigan can win in Husky Stadium? That environment's going to be loud.
It's going to be loud. Yeah.
It's going to be tough. Not going to be easy. Michigan does not have the home crowd aiding them like they did against USC. They're not in the big house. They're on the road. I don't know, man. This is a hard game to predict. If it was at Michigan, I wouldn't even think twice. But, man, they look bad against Minnesota in the fourth quarter, but they look good at first. Rodgers is good. People forget what Rodgers did with Mike Leach, rest in peace. Man, he was so good with Mike Leach. Yeah, a lot of his passes were dink and dunks, but he made it work. He was good. He was good. Man, I don't know, dude. I'm thinking about it. I don't know, man. I'm letting you pick first.
Gosh darn it. Okay.
I'm thinking about it.
34-31 Michigan.
31-28 Washington. I'm pulling it. I'm sorry, One Scoop John. I'm sorry, Michigan fan. Michigan man, Moose, all of you. I'm going Washington, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I think something about it, man. This game, it's at Washington. Michigan, orgy, there's still issues, you know? They're trying. They're getting better. I'm going Washington. I don't know, man. I'm feeling it. That's my upset. Even though they're favorites, not even an upset, but I'm picking it.
All right, USC, Minnesota.
And we got the game for Tim, finally. Big Ten Network, USC at Minnesota. Minnesota's a tough environment at night. I mean, it can be tough. Fleck needs this game, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will say, last quote on watching the game, though. Jason saying Washington missed 3 field goals against Rutgers. If the game is close, Michigan might pull it out. I don't know, though. Gross has been good in the past. He was good at Washington last year. He was the same kicker last year. I don't know why he missed 3 field goals against Rutgers, but he was the same kicker last year with Penix and Kalen DeBoer, and he was good. I don't know what happened in that game. So I don't think he's a bad kicker. I just think he had a bad game. Every kicker is a bad game. So I don't know about that. It depends if Gross lets it get in his head. If he can turn it around and kick like he did last year, he'll be fine. But that's interesting point there. But the thing is that USC, I still don't trust USC fully right now. I don't trust them fully. I think Miller Moss is good.
I just don't think Minnesota can hang with the SC's athletes. So
No.
I'm going to go 28-10 SC.
I think Minnesota tries. I think at half it will be close, kind of like how it was with Wisconsin.
Mhm.
USC, Wisconsin. Minnesota might even be leading at half, just like Wisconsin. Maybe it was like 13-10. But I do think USC will pull away. Daniel Jackson's a good player. I like Daniel Jackson. But outside of that, their offense just isn't it, man. They don't have Mo Ibrahim anymore. You know, some of those players they had, those receivers, Bateman, they just don't have it. So I'll go with USC to win 28-14.
Yeah. Sorry, Scotty. I can't see Baylor being Iowa State. I'll go 31-14 Iowa State.
Dave picking his own team. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Minnesota won. But Fleck needs it, and they're desperate, but I don't see it. And I agree with Will. Iowa State's better than Baylor. Sorry, Scotty. Baylor. I mean, the Big 12 is weird, though, man. Anything's possible. Anything can happen in that league. But I think Iowa State will win at home by 14.
This might be the game of the night.
Oh, UCF in Florida. Oh, my goodness. You stilled my beating heart, Will. Oh, my gosh. Why? Look at this game, man. UCF's favored, too. They're favored, man. So, like, what applause here? Because Jackson's theory is you can't pick UCF when they're favored. But Florida's trash. So Florida's trash. So, like, what do you do? What do you do here, man? Oh.
KJ Jefferson. Remember, Arkansas beat Florida last year at the Swamp, and KJ Jefferson stole it. I don't think they can stop him again, man. I'm going UCF to win.
What's your score?
What's the score? I'll go 38-21. I think it'll get ugly.
Well, here's the thing, though. Florida, they pulled through for us against Mississippi State.
Well, the UCF's better than Mississippi State. Mississippi State sucks. They got killed by a MAC team. They weren't even close. Like
all I know is, Will, is that I said I was done with Florida if they lost to Mississippi State, and they won. They beat Mississippi State. So they're giving me a little bit of hope. It's at home. It's at night. Yes, like I agree with Chris. This is Florida's last chance to win a football game this year. Absolutely. I agree with that. I actually agree with that. That maybe Florida State. Maybe Florida State. But this could be it. I mean, I'm telling you, man, Tom Petty, I won't back down. I
can't believe you're picking Florida again.
It's a good environment. Yeah, I'm telling you there's a chance, Thomas. But I'm picking UCF 31-24. I can't do it. I wanted to do it. But Florida's burned me too much. I'm going with UCF. They burned me too, though. I picked them against Colorado. So I'm mad at you, Malzahn. But I'm going with UCF. I was this close, Will. If Florida wins, I'm telling you, man, Florida. You sometimes got to pick the Gators. They're trash, but I'm going UCF.
There are going to be fights in this game. I agree, Jason. There will be fights in this game.
Oh, my Lord. I'm looking forward to that game, man. You better believe I'll be flipping it on the SEC network. So I'm checking that one out.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember that bowl game they played? And
yes. The Gasparilla Bowl.
Yeah.
I remember that game. Yeah.
Georgia Tech should beat Duke.
Look at Duke being
Duke.
underdog by 9. They're 5-0 and they're a 9-point underdog. Duke. Indiana is a 14-point favorite at Northwestern and they're 5-0. Duke is a 9-point underdog and they're 5-0. That should tell you everything you need to know about Duke. They're not great. I'm going with Georgia Tech to win 31-20. Haynes King's too good.
I'll go 38-14, man. Duke's, they're fraudulent, man. I mean, Jordan Moore is still there. He's decent, but yeah.
Yeah, of all of like the basketball schools, like that have had success recently, like the Kansas, Indiana Dukes, and all that recently. But now this year it's Indiana Duke. Duke's worse. Duke is worse. Absolutely. They're not great. That's why they're not ranked. They're not even close to being ranked.
How is Arizona State only a 2.5-point favorite?
They shouldn't have beat North Carolina, and they shouldn't have beat Northwestern. Duke really should have 2 losses.
Yeah.
But yes, Arizona State only favored by 2.5. Kansas, man, can Kansas win a game? Can they win a game? Do you think they can win a game? I don't think they can win.
No,
I'm going Arizona State 31-24.
Yeah, I'll go 34-21.
I haven't picked Kansas in 2 weeks, and it's done me good. So I'm going to continue that trend. I'm not picking them. Oh my gosh! Why is game day here? Why is game day here? Why are they not at Washington? Or I understand you have been to Cal. Why are you here? No one cares. Come on! Why are you here? Oh my God! I don't know why.
Were they ever at Cal during the Aaron Rodgers years?
I thought I saw that it was the first time they'd ever been at Cal.
That's surprising.
I could be wrong.
I'm shocked they never went with Tedford there.
Let me see. Cal game day. I thought it was the first time ever. Let me see. Cal finally gets a college game day moment. Okay. I think it's their first time. But yeah, because like you said, you would have thought with Rodgers. Absolutely. What do you think, man? I mean, the thing with Cal is that they lost to Florida State.
Yeah, you can't lose to Florida State.
You see what I'm saying? If they were undefeated right now, you better believe I'd be thinking about it, right? The problem is I still don't think Miami's that great. I don't. I really, really don't. Because look at Miami, right? We just saw Miami against Virginia Tech at home. Probably should have lost. There really isn't no probably. They should have lost. So now you got this game. And Cal, man. Cal.
I just don't think Cal can stop Miami. I mean, the only reason they won the Auburn game is because Peyton Thorne had a stinker. I want Cal to win. I just don't see it happening. I'm going 34-20. Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I want the Strawberries to win, man. But it just the problem is that even though Miami's having to travel all this way and all that, it's not like this is the greatest environment in the world. Better than Stanford, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, dude, you can't lose to Florida State. Everybody else has played Florida State has beaten them, except you. That's a problem. So, again, I don't know, man. Jason picking Cal. He's going Cal 24 or 21. Steven going Miami 48-31. And it's a conference game. Again, these Cal-Stanford ACC games are just broken. Oh, my Lord. College football is broken. I'm going Miami 35-21. I want Cal to win, and I don't trust Miami, but Cal lost to Florida State, man. You just can't do that. You can't do that and expect me to think you're going to beat Miami. So it would be the Miami thing to do to lose this game. It would. But I'm going Miami.
Yeah.
Look at this. On Fox at 11 o'clock, the final game of the night, Tech and Arizona. Decent game here. Arizona just beat Utah, and Texas Tech can score, man. They can score points. They can't defend worth anything, but they can
I think this is going to be a
points.
really fun game for Noah Fifita and McMillan.
Oh, yeah, because, again, like, you're just going to be slinging it downfield. Like, every play, it's like 50-yard pass down the field. Like, every play, because Tech can't defend.
Yeah, I'll go Arizona 54-49.
That's a little high, man, but I can see
easy over, man. Easy over.
Yeah. Why would anybody bet the under on that? Dude, like, come on. If Tech was just slightly better at defense, man. The thing is, though, the thing about Tech, the one thing Tech has going here, right, is that they got a good running back.
Tech's just a bad team on the road.
Tech's got a good running back, though. Taj Brooks is good. He can play. Taj Brooks can play. If he can run the ball in this game, because Arizona's not a good defensive team either. I know they held Utah to 10, but Utah's not good offensively right now. I agree, 1st to 40, like Jim says. Steven says 44-40, Arizona over Texas Tech. I could see Tech winning. I mean, I feel like they got the better running back. They can actually, be more dynamic passing running, but their defense is that bad. I like you said, Fifita McMillan, man, it's going to be a field day. If they could score enough, they win. And if they can get some stops, I mean, their defense will hold Utah to 10. I'll go with Arizona to win 48-45.
We made it.
We made it through the entire schedule. I like this week of college football again. I mean, there's a lot of sneaky little games. I mean, I like UCF Florida. Most people don't care about that game. I do. Can't wait for that game. And then you got Michigan Washington. What a game that is, right? And then Indiana, can they go to 6-0? Big there. I mean, you got some stinkers like Bama Vanderbilt, but I mean, there's a lot of solid games. Like Ole Miss South Carolina's good. Missouri A&M. Come on, look at that. So it's going to be fun, man. Definitely, hopefully, all of our teams do well. Absolutely, you will. Hopefully Notre Dame keeps winning. And, and Indiana can keep it rolling. Alabama can keep it rolling. But I'm looking forward to this week of college football. Should be another good one. Steven says, thanks for keeping me entertained, fellas. I'm still recovering from kidney transplant. Well, definitely hope that you keep recovering, Steven. And that sucks you had to have a kidney transplant. But hopefully you feel better. And hopefully everything's going good with that. But absolutely, just always appreciate you stopping by, Steven. Even when you're trolling me. I love it. I appreciate it. I always love the chats. It's always fun. But I hope you feel better, man. And appreciate Jim R for showing up, and Hummus Hero and everybody, and definitely Dave Valensky super chat. Absolutely appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel a lot, helps out the show. And everybody, before you go, if you guys are not subscribed to Will and D or Only Talk Sports, please do that. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the show. Definitely helps out both of our channels, trying to grow the channels. And subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football. If you want more Indiana Hoosiers content, all of it's over there. Definitely a lot of great stuff coming over on that channel. And also, I got a Rumble account if you want to Follow me on Rumble. A lot of people probably don't know what that is, but you can follow me on Rumble. But definitely appreciate all you guys for being here, and prayers for you, Steve, and hope you feel better. But you got any last thoughts, Will, before we go?
Yeah, man, UCF Florida will be fun, man. UCF Florida. That might be the game I'm that and then the two nooners, the Louisville SMU and Mizzou A&M will be fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of sneaky games. I like them. I mean, there's just, again, maybe not nothing that's like a headline game, but for me, for you, like football fans, will watch basically anything. You know, we love these type of games. Doesn't have to just be Bama Georgia, even though that was great. Loved Bama Georgia, but for a lot of people, they'll only watch games like that, like really big games. And we watch anything. So you guys in the chat, you guys are true football fans. You'll watch anything. We watch all types of games, and that's why we love talking about it every single week. But we'll be back next week, hopefully on Tuesday. But if we have to move things around,
I mean, we got a lot of views today, though. But
the views were great. You guys were fantastic tonight. Like, I was blown away at the views. Like, our views were insane, and I appreciate you guys. Hopefully, you guys keep showing up. Absolutely, the views were great. The chat was lively, and again, the super chat, definitely appreciate that as well. You guys were awesome. So maybe we'll do it next week on Wednesday. We'll see. But if not, we'll do it on Tuesday. But definitely, it was a great show tonight. Appreciate it. And again, hopefully everybody's team has a great week in college football. It was a lot of fun. See you guys next week.